My dear student, welcome to the very last project. So in this web application, we're going to learn how to crawl using pure JavaScript syntax. And by the way, how are you guys doing? Well, as for me, I'm really excited to present to you this tutorial. So in this project, not tutorials, in this project, so if I want to add a post, and if I should copy this, then this will be post 2. So copy and paste post. So we had post added, and if I didn't input anything in the title and of the body, so if I should click add, we are having a validation. Please check input field. Alright, so this is our basic blog, and we're going to build it using pure JavaScript syntax. Alright, so what we need a database. So in this case, we'll be using this JSON server as well. So what it does is a full fake REST API with zero code in less than 30 seconds. So what I'm going to do to get started, which is quite simple. So on my desktop, I'll create a folder which I'll name um, mini blog, mini-blog. So we're going to use Boomer CSS, Boomer.io. This is what we're going to use. I'll just paste in the code, which is the front end, this front end here. So let me close this. So I want to open this folder on my code editor. So vs open. I need a mini blog. First, all right. So perfect. So let's cd to this mini blog first. So I'll open my terminal and so let me clear this. So I'll do cd desktop and cd mini dash blog. So I want to run npm init. Make sure Node.js is installed on your system. Otherwise, you won't be able to use npm. Make sure Node is installed. Just go to nodejs.org and download it. So that's it. So that's my terminal. So I'll run npm init in the folder. So just yes, and that's it. So let's check our folder. So we just have package.json, package.json. Alright, so now we can go to our JSON server and run npm install-g json-server. Permission denied, so I'll use sudo, then npm install-g json server. So I'll input my password. Alright, so let's see what happened. Alright. So the next step is to create a DB. So db.json. So in here we'll create a file as db JSON, which is for the database. So I'll paste this JSON right here, which is posts that have title, body, and ID. So ID1, let's change this to 2. This is post 1, this is post 2, right? So next is start JSON server. Let me clear this. npm Alright, so our server is up and running, so you don't have to include npm, just copy paste these and run into your terminal so it will run. So now this is our the location to our resources, to our post. Let's see. Alright, so this will give us our server, which is up and running. So we are mimicking a real database right now, and so as you can see here, this is actually a fake REST API. Alright, so we are up and running. So we are having our server up and running, and now we have just 2 posts in our post session, which is like our database now. So let's close this, and I want to create a file which is index.html, and another file app.js, UI.js as well. Then we're going to work with our own very simple HTTP library, very basic HTTP library, which are already created, which is here. So we're going to work with it. So instead of using a very complicated one, a very large one like Azure HTTP library, but we're going to work with this basic HTTP library. So they are almost doing the same thing. Alright, so I just want to create a file. So you can actually just download it, which I'll provide on in your source code. Alright, so now I have http.js. So this is our basic HTTP. So with this HTTP we can post to our database, and we can put as well, that we can delete, and we can also get our request. We can also get our data or fetch data from our database. Alright guys, see you in the next section where we actually start to build our app. Welcome back my dearest students. So now let me copy the basic HTML. I'll just paste it right in here. And I'm gonna save this. And we're gonna then I'm gonna go live because I'm using a live server here. Alright, so these are basic makeup. So nothing's working now. Nothing's actually working now. So we'll start by, so these are DB, so we can close these UI, and these are basic HTTP. So the first thing we want to do is when a user click input, this is post one and what is on their mind, and click add. No, at first when you visit the website, which is our blog, we want to show some posts. So to accomplish that, so in our app.js, we're gonna get posts on download. So we'll do document dot add event list now. So in this case, we want to do DOM content loaded. So we're going to put a callback function of get posts. So this would be get posts function. So say function to get posts. So in our function, we want to actually contact our HTTP library. So supposing we are using Hasio, so this will be Hasio. Alright, so but this is our basic HTTP. I want to get post. So to do that, we're gonna say since we have class here, let's init our HTTP library in here. So say init HTTP. So we're gonna say const HTTP, which is equals to, we're creating an instance of that basic HTTP. Alright, so now we can use this instance here. Dot to call this get method here, which will receive a URL dot get, and we're gonna pass, because it wants to receive a URL here. So we're gonna pass our fake REST API, which is in where was it running? Which is this. Yeah. So we're gonna pass it here. And because this will return a promise, so we're gonna use .then. Let's see, no. Let me Ctrl Z here. We actually want to put this in a string, and .then. Let me just use this. right. Don't need this. This will be here. Okay, so in our result, we're gonna let's console.log result. So inspect. So we're actually receiving 2 posts. Array object of 2 posts, which is beautiful. So that is what we expect. And as a result of that, we want to display our post on our UI. Right? So we're gonna so in our UI.js, we're gonna create a class. In our UI.js, we're gonna create a class which will be UI, and we'll call it constructor. Yeah, we'll create a constructor that will fire up immediately an instance of this class is called. So we want to hook up to our display. Where are you? Attribute of ID here. So we're gonna say this pertaining to this class dot post, which will be equal to document dot get element by ID. So we need this post display. Alright, so whenever the instance of this UI is called, this will fire up. Okay, good. So in our app.js, we're going to init UI as well. This will be comment init UI. So we're going to say const UI equal to new UI. Now we can use this instance here, in here. So we're going to call UI.show posts. Yeah. So passing this result. So for that of the error, supposing there's an error, so we just want to console log the error. Console.log the error. Supposing there's an error, supposing this is not correct. So let's see. Reload. We're having this error. Fail to fetch, which is we are getting that fail to fetch. Okay, not from our basic HTTP, is from their I forget explanation. So let's alter this. See, so you're receiving fetch to fetch. Alright, so it's working. Ctrl Z and save. Alright, so we're calling UI.showPost and we're passing the results in our UI.showPost. So we're gonna do create a method of showPosts. Start, yeah, showPosts. So this will receive results. So let's console log to see. .log results. Clear. So on load, we're receiving this. Alright, perfect. So what we're gonna do with that now? So I don't want to start reinventing the way. I just want to copy the basic HTML and I'll explain it to you. So in this, alright, so I'll just paste it here. Okay, so what is happening here is, remember this is an object of an array. This is a two array. This is a two array, not object of an array. This is a two object of an array. Okay. So as a result of that, we're going to use for each, and for each expect an array, and we're having a callback function of result. So we initiate our let output equals to empty string, and we append it to it all these. So these are all Boomer classes, container. Then to access the title, we do the result.title. Then in terms of body, result.body, or we can also access the ID as well. So that's what we do. We result.title to get a title, and I can prove this to you now what we are actually doing. So let me uncomment this. So for console.log results.title, we receive the title of the first one. Alright. While we're receiving undefined, okay, let me say const test equal to results.title and console.log the result. Okay. Console.log test, not result test. Undefined. So while we're getting this undefined here, But for console log this, what am I doing as wrong? Result. Let's see. You're receiving this. Oh, I forgot. So this is an array, right? So not an object. So as a result of that, because it's an array, let's go back to this. And this will be result array, which is 0. So let's see. We have this is post 1, so if we put 2, 1 here, this will be, this is post 2. You get it, so it's working. Alright, that is, well, it's not really difficult, but I was really surprised of what this JavaScript trying to prove to me. Alright, so let's see. So wow, so we are having our results showing just like that. So perfect. So we are done with the first part. Alright, so in the next section we're gonna actually add a post. See you to then, and bye. Alright, so let's work on submitting post. So when a user type in the post title and what is on their mind and hit this button, we want to submit the post and display the post as well. So in our app.js, post submit, so we're gonna do const which equals to, we want to target this button when this button is clicked. So which is there's the form, which is this ID here, post submit. So when the user enter the title and what's on their mind and hit this button, so we want to target this button now. So in here, which document dot get element by ID, we need this, which is post submit, this button here. We'll add event listener. So take this dot add event listener. In this case, it's click. Yeah. So we're going to use our function here. And we want to get, so whenever the user clicked here, whenever the user, let me reload this, click this, we want to get input, the title on the body, or what is on their mind. So we're going to say get input values. So we'll do constant, which is will be for post title, which will be equals to document dot get element by ID post dash title dot value, because this is what we need. So for that of the post body, post body. So now for console.log, post title and the post body. As well, we're going to prevent default from happening. Save. So now if you clear here and reload, so this is post 1 and this, reload, this is post 1 and this post. So we're having this is post 1 and whatever I type in our input feed. Alright, so we are progressing. So the next thing we're gonna do now is we don't actually do we actually need to prevent default? Then let's leave it. Alright. Okay, so we're gonna do const post. So let's create an object here. So this object, we need the title, which is post title for value, and we need body, which should be equal to post body. Yeah, with comma. Right. So with this in mind, since this now is an object, we can send it to our basic HTTP. So to do that, which is we want to create post. Stay inside. Inside we'll do create post. So we'll take our instance of our HTTP, then we'll call the post method, which is this. It will receive URL and the data, which is an object. So dot post, and we're going to pass in URL. So and object and our data, which is in this case will be post. So the URL will be this. Alright, so when it do its work, it will return promise. With dot then. Okay. So in the promise, we're going to use our function here. So this will be results. So let's, okay, this will be result. And so when it pulls, let's do something like console log dot log. posted. When it fails, or want to catch the error, so dot catch. So use arrow function error. You can just say error, since it's just a one per parameter, and of course to console log, consider log error, the error. Alright, so let's see. Now we just have two posts, and if we want to add something like this, posted, so it works. So let's check it. Alright, so we are receiving this data now, so our posting is working. So we have done with get and post, so now I want to do delete and update. But before then, when this is posted, when whatever we type in here is posted, we want an alert to indicate that we have successfully made it. Alright, so our next move will be, we're going to tell our user, just in case they are choose not to impute, just in case these feeds are empty, so we want to tell them that, hey, listing body, we want you to type in some things in this feed. Alright, so that is what we're going to do. So how are we going to accomplish that? Because right now they can just come to our website and just click add. You see posted. Here it posted to our database as well. So we haven't taken care of the validation. Look at it. This is empty. And if you check our post, we can see we have empty here. We don't want that, alright? We want to prevent that, so we can delete this. So we want to prevent that not to happen. But before we do that, alright, let's prevent it. Then we're going to tell them that, hey, listing, just as the original one is, please check input feeds, and nothing is posted. So this is what we want to do. Okay, so to accomplish that, alright, so in here, before we actually post, we want to check for validation, which is create post. So the user will come here and type the title and what is on their mind. Instance, we want to check if these feeds are not empty. Alright, so very basic if statement we're going to use. So we're going to say if, remember this is an object, so we say if post title, which would be the post title, which should be whatever is being typed in here. So we're going to say if, this is an object, so we're going to say if post title dot title is not empty. Okay, not if post title is empty. Okay, let's check for the other one. And the other one, post dot body is empty. So what we're doing here, we're checking if post title is empty and the post body is also empty. So we want to tell the user that please check in your feed, or what I use here, let's see, please check input feed. Okay, so that's what we want to tell the user to do now. So to accomplish that, quite simple. So we're going to call our UI instance UI.show alert. We're going to say UI.show alert, and in this UI.show alert, we're going to pass in 3 parameters. The first one will be please, which is the message. Please check inputs feeds. And the second parameter will be this is from the Boomer CSS class, and that's what we want to pass through here, which is message.body is one of their class. And the next class will be message and is danger. These are all Boomer classes. This should be in quotes. Alright, so we're going to create this method, this show alert. You can save these and so create it here. So this will be the show alert. So when the post title and the post body is empty, we want to call our UI, which is show alert. When this is empty, these feeds are empty. So we're going to call our UI with a parameter, please check input feeds. Then these are all classes, message body, message, and its danger. So right in here in our UI, so we're going to say show alert, which is the method that will receive 3 arguments. So the first one will be message. So class name 1 and class name 2. So in here we're going to create our alert. I will copy paste some HTML element and explain it to you now. So alright, now I can paste this here. So we don't need this. We don't need this here. Alright, cool. So what is happening here is quite simple. So we are creating dev, an HTML dev element. So which is dev, we call it dev as well. So we're adding class, we're adding class 1, which is what we receive from here, which is this message body. And we are appending child, which is create test node of message. So we're creating this message. We want to create this. Please check input feed is what we create in. So what is actually happening here? This is it. So we supposing we want to write an HTML document, we say dev. We say dev, right? We close it. So we are creating the message in here. So whatever will be in our dev. So this will be please check input. Check input. Check input. Okay, so that's what we are actually doing here. And alright, so we are appending our message to it, and then we want to get an element now. So we're getting the error container. So in our HTML we have an error container here. So we're targeting this error container, and we are taking the container, then adding a class name, which is the class 2, which is this message dash body, which is what we receive here, which is no, this would be this message is danger, which is what we receive here. Okay, and we're adding that class to it. Then get post title, which is the error. So we are getting this class here. This should be post title. Where are you? So this will be get error title. Alright, so we are getting this error title here, this element, this dev element, and we are inserting the alert dev now, which is the dev we created with the classes. So we're inserting it before this error title. Okay, then we're just setting timeout and using the set timeout method here. Then we'll, after 3 seconds, we want to remove the message dash body class which we received. So let's try that and to see. So if this is empty, nothing will happen. Perfect, nothing happened. But we something posted. We'll fix that. The reason is because, let me fix that quickly. So we are saying if this is empty, you do this. Then what about our else statement? So S, this would be in between the S. So I should go to our DB and remove this empty. So this. So now if I should reload and click on this, we have please check input feeds are not a post. So we are not in post to our database. So we are actually progressing. So progressing. So what are we going to do next? So the next will be when we had a post, we want to indicate that post had it successfully, just like this. Post added. Alright, so this is what we want to accomplish. Right now, if we had a post 3, and we'll write this. We don't have any message, but there is a post. Alright, so how we're gonna fix that? It's quite simple. So in the else statement, we want to call an alert, which is this UI dot. We'll call this paste. So this will be post added. And instead of danger, sources is sources. All these are materialized classes. Alright, so let's see. Post added. Okay, perfect. So we are progressing. So far we have worked with create read. So now it is time for us to work with the update and delete. So for that, I spot one issue in our else statement. This e.prevent should be Bennett here, not in the S, but under the S closing bracket. So save and reload. Let's see. Okay, everything works fine. So let's work with the delete first before the update. Let's work with delete first before update, because that is really simple. For the delete, what we're going to do is in here we're going to say const listing for delete. So we'll say instead of const, let's do document dot get element by ID. In this we want the post dot display dot add event listener, which will be click. So our callback function will be delete posts. Alright, don't worry about this, we'll create that. So in our HTML, in this we have this ID of post display. which is what we target here. Let me close this. Post display. Alright, so in it we want to work with our callback function, so we're going to create it. Create our delete post function. So we'll come here. So it's a function. We're going to say function so we're going to use event delegation here. So event. So what we're going to do is we're going to say const delete id. Your question is, I've been wondering, where is the delete id coming from? Where is it coming from? So actually what is happening here is yes, the reason why it disappears is because we let me I'll comment this now and see. Okay, we have our post back, so I want to show you something. Alright, so in here, in this, so we have this container, and in the container we have this href. This is for the edit, and this is for the delete. You remember we have a class. There's a class here, edit post, a custom class, and delete post, a custom class as well. I also have a data id which is equals to 1 and data id which is equals to 1 pertaining to this first post. And for this second post, which will be this, we have data id 2 and data id 2. So I know your question is, where is it coming from? If you remember in our UI.j here, so while we are displaying our post, we display the title and that of the body, as well as we set our data id to that of the id, the result id and the result id. So that is in our database. So we have, remember we have a title, body, and id. So the id is what we are inserting here using the data id and this data id. Alright, so with that being said, so in this, so let me uncomment this back. So we'll say data id. So we remember we're targeting the from our, where are you, from our delete post, we're targeting the id, which is somewhere around here, which is this. Which is the display ID, right? Display. This is what we're targeting, the display ID. Alright, so the post display ID. Okay, so in this we want to check, I think I have to explain this again too. Alright, in here we have this class, this edit post, which also we are seeing right in here. Supposing in this post, in this paragraph, not in this paragraphs, in here, which is this edit post, and we also have for the delete post as well. So we want to check for this, if there's a class of delete post. So that is the reason, that is what we want to do here. Okay, so this we're going to say const delete id, delete id. So should we use delete id? Okay, yeah, let's go that delete id. So we'll say event, because we want to work with event delegation dot target, event dot target dot parent parent element dot class list. Do you have delete dash post? So for console.log the delete ID, we should receive true. What is happening here? Delete post is not defined. Delete post is not defined. Delete post is not defined. Where are you? Alright. What we're gonna do is since we want to work with event delegation, we're going to prevent default e dot, which is the event. So now that way that error goes. So now if we should, no, let me minimize it. If I should click on this, this which is true, this delete, this will be true, true, true. So we are progressing. Okay. So we're going to check if it is true. So if we have something here which is true, we're going to say if this is true, if it is true, we want to get the ID, because now if I should click on this, there is an ID in it, in this delete, which is 2, that would get from our data ID, and I've explained it that how get it from here, from this result.id. So we are targeting this 2 now. So since we use data ID here, we're going to say in our app.js, save this. So in our app.js, so if it is true, now we're going to say const, let's get a ID because we want to delete it. ID is equal to event target dot the parent element dot dataset dot ID to get that ID. So now for console log this, console.log the ID. So what's going to happen? So we're expecting to receive true is not defined in this. Alright. Delete ID is equals to true. This should be true. So if I should try this, receive 5, this should be 4, this should be 3, 2 and 1. So okay, good. So now we can ask the user if truly they want to delete it. So we're going to say so we're going to say if confirm do you want to delete post so if yes, if they wants to delete post, we're going to delete the post. Which will be, if truly they wants to delete it, they are going to delete it. So there's no need for that of s there. S do nothing. Alright, so we're going to say HTTP. We're going to work with our the instance of our HTTP. We're going to call delete, and delete in this, where is delete? Delete receive just the URL. So we're going to say delete. We'll use template string here, so I'm going to pass in this. And also we're going to insert that ID. Okay, which is this ID here. In this case it might be 1, 2, or 3, or 4, or 5. Alright, so if so we're going to say then, now we'll work with arrow function here. Results, so let's console log to see. Console.log results. Okay, now if I should reload and clear this, suppose we want to delete this, nothing will happen. But if I should click this, delete, it is gone. File deleted, right? So if I should click this, okay, file deleted, and I can delete this. So file deleted. So we are progressing. Okay, so we want to inform the user that when it's deleted and post deleted, right? Just has the working in this working one here. Delete, so post deleted. So this is what we want to do. So to do that, it is quite simple. All we need to do is to call our, you see, UI.showAlert. And the first parameter, remember, should be post deleted. We're going to say post deleted. 3 parameter that we received, and this should take message. Should copy this and paste it here. There's no point of trying to type it again. Yeah, post deleted. So then after that, once the post is deleted, we want to call get post function, which in this case we are calling this get post function here. That will get our post and display it back to the DOM. Just in case there's an error, so we're going to say catch, use arrow function here. Consider log, which is the error. Arrow function is very interesting and very sweet to use. So now if I should reload, we can add a post added, and let's see, post added, and now we can delete a post deleted, post deleted. So our app is up and running. So the last but not the least, we want to update our post. So when the user click on this, no, this is the work. What am I doing? This is even the working one. So let's go to our, I should close this. So if we should add a post added, and let's do this. So now I can delete. Post. That while we're receiving post, this should be post deleted, not post added. Post deleted. So save. So let's add a post added, and let's delete a post deleted. Alright, so we are still progressing. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, so the next part is we want to update our post. So to do that, I'll be a little bit fast compared to the other. So what we're gonna do is, in here, since we check if the feeds are empty, alright, so if the feeds are empty, we alert the user, please check input feeds. Yes, we create a post. But before we create a post, now since we want to work with our the update, the first thing we want to do is we should copy this. So listing for update here. So this will be update post. So create this function here. So say function we also want to work with event delegation as well. So before we create a post, we want to check for that ID, which is this where are you? So we're going to check for an ID before we create a post, to check if there is a value in that ID. Remember, we have an eating feed here in our form. It's an attribute ID of ID, so we actually want to check on this. Before we do that, in here, and also we need to also as well populate that with an ID. So first, let's check on it. So let's say const ID equal to document.getElement by ID. We need a value. Alright. So for now, let's see. Let me reload. So in our form, we have this third one is the eating feed. And we need a value here. So we want to insert a value in here. And to do that, so let's go up to here. So in here, we're going to do some in our constructor. I just want to copy and paste something here. So I'll paste this here, and so what this is actually doing, when the instance of this class is called, so we're actually getting the post title, the post body, and we are as well getting the this.input ID. So this we hook up to the eating input feed, which is this. Alright, so this we get this we target for this again. I want to iterate again. This will target the post body, this will target the post title, and this will target the eating input feed as here. Alright, so this is for the post title, body, and the eating one. Alright, so we are a little bit progressing. So we're going to do some canvas here. So to speed things up, what I'm going to do is I just want to copy this. So I'll paste this here. So what this is doing is really simple. We are targeting this edit here. This is what we're targeting here, the class. Alright, so on if it is true, then we see invert dot, we are saying if it is true, then we we're going to move on to do event.target.parent element dot the data set. After explaining this very well, let me click this. Start with this. This is the post title, this is for the post body, and this is for the edit post. So in here, we are getting the ID of this edit post. Remember, we use data ID here, so in here we say data set, so this will give us the ID of this edit post here. Okay, so the next will be title, we say event or target or parents element. Alright, and we've seen previous element, which will be this is for the body, because we are here, our edit post, we are here. This is what we check. We check it here. If this event target parent element or class list contains edit post, then the first is we set our data ID to ID, which is the ID here, and the next, to get to this title, this is for the parent element, which is this a tag here. So we say in previous element assembly, so which is this p tag, we are now in this p tag. Then to go up, we'll call dot previous element assembly again, which is for this part. Then we need what? The test content of this, which is this. This is post 1. So this is post 1 will be here in this title. So for the body, we're saying event target parent node, same thing. Either parent element or parent node, the same. And we say the previous assembly. So we are here. We are here. So this previous assembly is this. Then the content, because we need the content. So that's what happened here. Test content. Alright, so with that, we are now using object as a post. We're passing this ID. So there's no point to say ID. You understand? Because since we can just leave it like this. This we have comma here. You know why we want to post why posting then? We did something like title and body, but these are different. These are all variables. So since we are sending the same thing, we'll leave the ID, the title, and the body. So this will give us the body content, this will give us the title content, and this will give us the ID of the post. Then we're going to call UI.form field. We're passing this post. So we're going to create our form field in our UI here. So our form field will receive posts, and I'll copy it. This is data here. Now paste this. So what we are actually doing, we are setting the because now remember we target out of the input and the body and the ID. So we are setting those whatever we receive from here, the ID, the title, and the body. The title, the body, and the ID. So we are setting it right in here. Data ID, data.title, then data.body. Remember, we receive the post here, so in this place we use ID, or we can also use post, just depend on your choice. So we are setting the value of the ID, the title value, and that of the body value. So if I should save now and click on edit, we have this. So in here we are getting the value of our ID. So remember, if post title and post body is empty, we want to show alert, please check input field S, post it. But before post it, before we create a post, sorry to say, so we want to do if that ID value is empty, then we can create post. Otherwise, if it's not empty, we can update. So we are calling put, then passing our URL with the ID. With this ID here, and also we're passing the post as well. Which is this post. No, not that post. So what is happening here? So we are calling the instance of our HTTP, then usually put, and we're passing the ID which we receive from here, this ID, and we are passing our post to it. So then we're calling UI.showAlert post updated, and that is it. And if we should try, let me save this and close this, reload, let's delete this, post deleted, and if we should have post one, then this added. So if we want to update this is post one, let's do it like this, and let's do something like this. Wow, what happened? Why is our post not? Let's see. Inspect. Alright, post is not defined in. Okay, so let me fix that. Is not post, is post. Alright, so if I should want to update this is post one, and this is post one body. If we click add, post updated, and we have this. So if I should do this is post 2, then this is post 2 body. Let's see, post updated, and we are done. Thank you very much for taking this course, and God bless you. I hope this help you to understand how to crawl using pure JavaScript syntax. And please don't forget to leave a comment and remain blessed. Bye, and see you in my next project.